Well, it's good morning to Rita, who's joined us with a ray of sunshine beaming in behind her, making the day that's more brighter and exciting. Is that okay to say? You don't mind me saying that, do you, Rita?
The sunshine makes every day brighter and more exciting.
Exactly. Exactly. Now, we said off air just now that you've been in family mode and sort of kids mode and Easter mode and all the rest of it. Is that sort of like a little bit of a mid-year reset for you in a way whereby you can just take a few days off to do the things that you crave and like to do?
Would I call it a reset? Possibly not. It's just some time to decompress. I mean, everybody needs time to decompress. A holiday doesn't need to mean, going abroad and spending money and going to different places. To me, it's just about even a few days where you can just refocus in on the family, the kids, your relationship, because, we can get very, very caught up in work and business and finances and all of the pragmatic stuff that needs to happen to, pay the bills and tick the boxes. But we do it because we want to have a nice life for our families, and often we just disconnect from them. So I just took a few days off, had some nice time with the kids and, birthdays and all sorts, and now sort of just easing back into it.
Well, that's the thing, and also it's like a switch whereby you can. It's something different and a break in the norm, which can be to help you sort of move on to the next thing. On that note, then this morning you sent us a message. Going to talk about goals, but not goals in the sense of football goals or things of that nature. Although from a team perspective, that would be the end game in order to get to somewhere to achieve a goal for a score. But you're talking goals in terms of the human connection.
So today is apparently International Refresh Your Goals Day. So I thought it would be a good idea to talk about goals, because actually 90% of people will set goals and never actually achieve them. And that's not just in my particular industry. In my industry, actually, in the weight loss industry, 95% of people never achieve their goals. So it's an alarming proportion. And so the question that probably a lot of people ask is, well, what's the difference between the 95% of people who maybe set a goal and never achieve it and the 5% who set a goal and actually see it through? What makes a good goal, and how do you ensure you actually follow through on it? And it all comes from sort of three key aspects. And the first is how you set the goal, because most people think of a goal as something that we hope. And I use the word, my clients know that I'm not a fan of the word hope. I know hope seems to be a very positive word, but actually when we hope, it means that we don't truly believe something will happen. People set a goal hoping that they'll reach it. I hope maybe one day I'll lose X amount of weight. I hope maybe one day I'll own a second property in the south of France. I don't know, whatever it is. If we hope, it means that there's quite a large element of doubt. And if there's an element of doubt, we won't do everything in our power to make that goal a reality. So one of the things to do is, when you're setting goals, do them from the perspective of an outcome, because an outcome is certain. If I drive my car down this road, the outcome is I'll get to the end of it. That's a certainty. I don't hope that I'll get to the end of it. I know I will. Right. So what we want to do is set goals with a belief, regardless of whether you've got any evidence that you can do it. Just decide in that moment that it will happen, because the word decide, actually the etymology is that it comes from the Latin to cut off. So when we make a decision, it means we cut off any possibility that anything else could happen. We decide in that moment that this will be my outcome and nothing will get in the way of it. So that's probably the first thing, is the certainty and clarity of what you're actually setting as your goal, if that makes sense.
Yeah, that makes sense. And do you think that from people's perspective, do you think they perhaps set goals that are unachievable, or should I say too far ahead? Should goals be like baby steps, if you like? So you go a certain way, then a certain way, looking towards the top end, as it were. Do you think people sometimes set themselves unachievable goals?
Absolutely not. I don't believe that there is such a thing as an unachievable goal. I think what people do is one of two things. So this would be the second point. People either set goals which are not inspiring enough. So if I said to myself, my goal is, I don't know, to lose 3 pounds, that doesn't inspire me. It doesn't mean anything. I don't have an emotional connection to it. So I don't really care. If I set the goal to say, right, I'm going to lose 20 pounds and appear on stage in a fitness competition and be in the best shape of my life, that is inspiring. That goes, right, I want to do that. I want to achieve that. Now, does that sound a lot more unachievable than 3 pounds? Yes. But everything can be achieved if you decide in that moment that this is the outcome. And then we take the baby steps. Then we work back. So it's saying, you know, what most people, the issue is the goal that they set, they're not emotionally connected to. And if you're not emotionally connected to it, it doesn't inspire you to want to do it. You can intellectually know, I want a 10-bedroom mansion, or intellectually know, I want a Ferrari, or I want a 30-inch waist. I don't know. But all of these goals, if you can't emotionally find an awe-inspiring reason to do it, it will never happen. So set a goal that is going to really push you beyond limits that you thought were capable. And once you've set the goal, then work backwards and say, right, what is the first step that I need to take to be able to do that? What is the second step? And then each week you take just one small baby step towards that goal, but it has to be inspiring enough. So actually, I always say people set goals which are far too achievable. And when something's achievable, it's a bit of a meh goal.
It doesn't drive you, does it? So are you saying that the not more distant the goal, the more sort of inspiring it is much more likely that you'll drive yourself towards that? And would that inspire in your brain, right, that's definitely what I've got to go for, and you would grasp that decision a bit more firmly?
Absolutely, because people only make change for one of two reasons. Like true massive change only happens either from desperation or inspiration. And so a goal, we don't want a goal that's out of desperation. So it's going to need to be from inspiration. If you look at the kind of people that influencers or people that others follow, you know, these sort of large figures, they create change and feeling in their followers because they inspire them. And so people need to learn that if you're going to set a goal, you need to inspire yourself. So you either get to a state where you cannot take the pain anymore, and that's a desperation, or you set a goal which is so much pleasure, so much emotion, so much of a why that it inspires you to change. So that's always the second thing. And also, don't just set a goal and then never look at it again. You've got to set a goal. And this is the third point, is when you set a goal, you've got to keep it front and center every day. So you can't just write a goal down and then chuck it in a drawer and hope that it might happen. It needs to be part of your day to day. So if you've got one specific inspiring goal, get your lipstick out and write it on the mirror. You know, get a Post-it note and stick it on the sun visor of your car. So every time you bring it down, you see it. Laminate it and put it on your fridge. Wherever you're going to see it, it needs to be front and center. And every time you see that goal, visualize it happening. Envision that goal as your reality today. Because the more we can visualize, the more it becomes a truth of who we are. And the more taking those baby steps towards it becomes just a way of life. So make sure whatever that goal is, it's with you every step of the day.
Okay, so in your line of work, then, do you? I'll put it this way: do you inspire your clients to look at it that way, or do you try and get them to get the inspiration from their inside, so they're inspiring themselves? Is that much more powerful than you? I mean, you could say to anybody, right, I want you to do this and I want you to do that, but unless they've got that drive inside to do it, that won't necessarily happen, will it?
Yeah, so it's a combination of both. I think outside inspiration is really key. I still follow people who inspire me. As much as I can create inspiration for myself, I enjoy being inspired by others. It means that I'm part of something bigger than just myself. So yes, it needs to be myself inspiring them, but through doing that, it's teaching women and coaching them how to become their own driving force. The biggest thing that a client will say to me when we have our initial conversation is, I need you to give me motivation. And I'm really sorry to say to anybody out there who's asking that of me or anybody else, no one can give you motivation. I cannot give you motivation. Motivation is an interior driving force. Motivation is something that we have to create for ourselves. I can help you find your own motivation and help you cultivate that and create a lifetime change from it. I can't give it to you because ultimately I can inspire you to find it, but it's something that is intrinsic. It's an inherent thing. If you rely on something or someone else to constantly motivate you, you will never be in full control of your own choices. You know, what if I pop my clogs, right? Or what if you're inspired to get into a particular, like, what if you're motivated to get into an outfit? This is one of the things, right? And this is a great little goal, like set goals to get into an outfit, to reach a certain number on a scale, whatever it might be. What if the outfit's discontinued and all of your motivation was tied up in that? Then what do we do? It has to come from the intrinsic, not the extrinsic.
What I would say is, just before we go, is here's the odd thing with you, and I refer to obviously your Facebook and Instagram and stuff, where you have put up posts about how things have gone. Even for you, you put your own body on there, and you said how you've made this journey. And you've showed great results and stuff. So for a female or person looking at that, go, oh, well, if she went from that to that, it can be done. Would that not in itself be an inspiration for people to try and follow and in order to try and do that? Because yourself, what you're doing in your industry, you're saying, well, I managed to get to this from there. You can too. Is that the message that you're giving in a way that people need to grasp?
Yeah, so from my perspective, the only way that I want to inspire women is to understand I'm not special. I went from being vastly overweight to, you know, being in sort of photo shoot form. And it's not because there's something unique about me. It isn't because I'm different. It isn't because I've got something that no one else has got. But equally, I'm not going to sit here and say, yeah, it was absolutely easy. It was a walk in the park. You know, we are constantly bombarded with images of women and men, by the way, it's across the board, on platforms like Instagram, who are young. The majority in their 20s or early 30s. They are the kind of people who have never actually been overweight, so haven't really had to go through that change. A lot of them don't have, you know, lots of kids, lots of, you know, hours that they're putting in on shifts. They're followed around by professional videographers. They've got professional stylists. They've got nannies and housekeepers and chauffeurs and whatever it might be. They've got makeup artists who are coming to make them look good before they come and do these videos. And so what we're seeing is this idea that, well, you know, it's easy. Just, you know, get off your butt and start doing something.
It's false, isn't it? It's a false image.
It's false. It's a truth for them. it's a truth for them. If you're a 25-year-old woman who's never had kids, never been overweight, and you've got a hairstylist and a cleaner and all sorts of things, that is their truth. But that's not a truth that should be inflicted upon other people that makes them feel like their truth is wrong.
Right.
Your situation as a woman or a man, if you're a parent, you are working 2 jobs, you're trying to run a business, you're looking after a household, and you haven't got the help. We don't wake up looking freshly done, going to the gym in full makeup, flexing our biceps. We can barely get out of the door before something sort of hits the fan. So it's just that my inspiration, I suppose, that I want to share with people is that I'm not unique, I'm not special, I'm just a very ordinary person who's trying to find the best way to stay sane in the world. And you can do it as well. It's just that it needs to be in a way that suits your lifestyle. Don't pretend that their lifestyle will ever work for you.
All right. Okay. All right then. Well, look. Okay. If people want to know more and get in touch, and you can then share that inspiration and share that drive that you clearly have, and you've obviously taught yourself that, which is a great thing for other people to look at. How do they get in touch, please?
So the best thing is to go to the website, which is thehealthandfitnesscoach.com, or you can email me, which is Rita, RITA, at thehealthandfitnesscoach.co.uk, or you can find me on social media, which is Rita Trotter or The Health and Fitness Coach.
Fantastic. Rita, it's been a pleasure, and we'll talk soon. Look forward to speaking to you next week, and I'm off downstairs to set the goal up now to see if I can get in it. Yeah?
Absolutely.
I'll speak to you next time. Speak to you later.
Then.
Bye-bye.
Bye.